ang sentro ng kapangyarihan. Sa halip, umuwi siya sa bayang tinubuan para organisahin ang isa sa mga unang kilusang gerilya sa Luzon. Tinipon niya ang mga kababayan niyang mga magsasaka na may bolo, mga estudyanteng may mga patpat, mga mangingisda na may mga lumang rifle. At binuo ang halos 3,000 guerrilla force sa Kabikulan. Hindi mga sundalo, hindi malalakas na armas. Sa ehemplo niya, itinuro niya na lakas ng loob ang pinakamalakas na armas. At dahil sa tapang niyang iyon, siya ay tinugis ng mga Hapon, pinagtaksilan, nahuli, binugbog, pinahirapan, inalok ng ginhawa kung ipagkakanulo ang mga kasama. Pero tumanggi siya. Noong Hulyo 15, 1942, sa edad ng 31 anyos, bago siya barilin, sinabi pa niya, "Huwag matakot. Mamamatay tayo para sa ating bansa. Balang araw, magiging malaya ang ating mga anak." Kahapon, Vinzons Day, pinapaalala ng araw na ito at ng buhay ni Bintaw na ang aktivismo ay pagmamahal sa bayan, na ang pamumuno ay hindi tungkol sa kita o poder, kundi sakripisyo at serbisyo, na ang kalayaan at mabuting pamamahala ay hindi kailanman ibinibigay, lagi itong ibinabaka o ipinaglalaban. Maaring may magtanong, ano ang kinalaman ng isang kabataang Pilipino na nabuhay noong 1930s at 1940s sa ating mga digital natives na kabataan ng bagong milenyo? Ang sagot ko, lahat. Dahil sa panahong pwede nang magsulat, magpasya o manlinlang ang makina, social media, higit kailanman kailangan natin ang tapang, konsensya at pakikipagkapwa-tao. Huwag nating ipagkanulo ang alaala ni Bintaw Vinzons. Tumindig tayo laban sa baha, hindi lamang ng tubig, kundi ng katiwalian. Dahil dalhin natin ang kanyang tapang sa ating mga silid-aralan, sa ating mga barangay, sa ating mga tanggapan, at oo, sa mga bulwagan ng Kongreso ng Senado. Tumindig si Wenceslao Vinzons, kapatid, gobernador, bayani, kahit kamantayan ang kabayaran ng kanyang pagtindig. Tunay siyang palagiang sagisag ng pag-asa, ng kalayaan, ng tapang ng kabataan. Tulad niya, harapin natin ang hamon ng kahirapan, di pagkapantay-pantay at korupsyon na siyang sumisira sa ating demokrasya. Naway tayo sa ating panahon ay tumindig din. Sa ating araw-araw na pakikibaka, mabuhay ang alaala ni Wenceslao Vinzons, mabuhay ang sambayang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo, at sa ating mga kasamahan sa Senado.
Mr. President, may the good gentleman answer just one question from this representation? Mr. President, if
Willingly to our majority leader.
Go ahead.
Is- Thank
We
you, Mr.
open the
President.
period of interpellation. Go ahead.
Mr. President, I just want to ask, is there a law already recognizing Wenceslao Vinzons? Because if there's none, I would suggest that we pass a working holiday but a law. Meron na?
There is a provincial ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, but there is no national law.
So if the good gentleman, Mr. President, would like to spearhead one, I would love to be a co-author of that law. I think we should recognize him for his efforts. He was martyred in World War II because of his belief in freedom and of democracy, and his vigilance should be rewarded not just by mere resolutions in the Senate, not just by mere provincial resolutions. Kailangan tayo talaga ng batas.
In fact, Mr. President, for the information of our colleagues, when he was killed, together with him was his wife, two children, and his father. They were all killed by the Japanese invasion forces.
I visited Vinzons in 1991. And the story goes that before he was killed, he was paraded on the streets. He was paraded on the streets of Vinzons, which was I'm not sure if it was Vinzons before. I think it was Daet.
Yes, the members of the
Yes.
family, the grandson is here. And he confirms that the story, Mr. President.
I'm trying to recall the name of the mayor then, but that was 1991. I think the Wenceslao Vinzons III was not born yet. Anyway, I would be honored to be a co-author of this resolution, Your Honor. Senator Ping Lacson is
Thank you,
recognized.
Mr. President. The majority leader raised a very interesting question and manifestation. Wala pala tayong law, even a proclamation or executive order na nagdi-declare ng isang Pilipino bilang national hero. Even Dr. Jose Rizal and the others, by tradition lang.
Yes.
Naging national. Now, maybe we can initiate a legislative measure, no? Establishing the parameters or classification on how to declare a Filipino to be a national hero. And I would suggest that Wenceslao Vinzons would be the first recipient of that law if ever it is passed. Because as you were sponsoring, as you were delivering your sponsorship speech, I was chatting with ChatGPT. No? Alam nyo, yung exploits niya talagang makatindig balahibo. No?
That
He
is
was
correct.
captured by the Japanese, very young CONCOM delegate at age 24, 1935 Constitutional Convention. Tapos elected as governor, a member of the House of Representatives. And he was captured by the Japanese because he was the one who organized yung uprising sa Bicol.
That is correct.
The whole of Bicol region. He was tortured but he refused to cooperate. So he was beheaded.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
along with the other, as
That
you
is
said,
correct.
members of the family. Very unfortunate, and what a waste, no? Because in his young life, he was beheaded at age 31. No? He could have contributed a lot para sa ating mahal na bayan, no? Especially during the Japanese occupation, and even beyond that, had he not been beheaded. So maybe we can craft a legislative measure para para maging batas. Ano ba yung mga parameters? Para na sa ganon, kung meron tayong ma-encounter na ganyan, mga exploits by a Filipino patriot like Wenceslao Vinzons, at least meron tayong magagawa para ma-recognize yung kanilang mga heroism, ika nga. So, I think we can work on that,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
President. So with that, thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Senator Lacson. If I may just put on record also, Mr. President, this was a column of Mr. Romero, Segundo Romero, in the Philippine Daily Inquirer 10 hours ago, so today. And if I may quote, born in 1910 in Indan, Camarines Norte, he became the UP Student Council chairperson and editor of the Philippine Collegian. He was a visionary, far-seeing, brilliant advocate for a pan-Malay union, founded the Young Philippines, a political party of law students who insisted that the youth was not a waiting room, but a vanguard. At 24, he was a delegate to the 1934 Constitutional Convention. At 27, he was governor of Camarines Norte. At 29, he was assemblyman. But the two tests, sabi nga, came not in the halls of lawmaking, but in the forests of Bicol during World War II. And for the Japanese, neutralizing Vinson was essential. When he was captured in 1942, they offered him collaboration, help pacify the resistance in exchange for his life, and he refused. And therefore, the Japanese retaliated by executing 6 members of his family: his father, Gabino, his wife, Liwayway, his sister, and 2 of his children. And an unborn child was lost with Liwayway. So she was pregnant at the time that she was killed. So clearly, the sacrifice of Wenceslao Vinzons and his family is worthy of
Immeasurable.
immeasurable and worthy of our giving him the honor that he deserves. I therefore move that we well, unless there are yes, I understand the gentleman from
Senator,
Camarines Norte.
Senator Robin Padilla is recognized. By the way, when was Wenceslao Vinzons governor of Camarines Norte? No,
Norte,
not
yes,
Sur.
correction.
Yes, Camarines Norte. Okay. He was, what year was he governor?
The age of 27. So if he was born, well, 1910, so that would have been 1937 when he was governor.
All right, 1937, yes. When I visited in 1991, the governor of Camarines Norte was the father of Senator Robin Padilla.
I'm willing
And
to
you
yield.
you are recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pinunong mayorya. Gusto ko lamang pong magpasalamat sa ating bayani ng mga magsasaka, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, sa pagkilala po sa aming bayani sa Camarines Norte. Ang buong probinsya po ng Camarines Norte, kasama po ang pamilya ng aming bayani, ay nagpapasalamat po sa inyo sa pagkilala niyo po at sa pagtindig dito sa ating plenaryo upang bigyan po siya ng nararapat na pagkilala. At ganun din po sa ating po mga kasamang senador, Senator Panfilo Lacson, Senator Mig Subiri at sa ating pong Senate President, Senator Vicente Soto. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Isa pong karangalan ang mapag-usapan po ang pangalan na yan dito. Wenceslao Vinzons, sapagkat yan po ay aming pong bayani, aming pong kinikilala. Sa kanya pong pamumuno ay na-liberate niya po ang Dait at ang buong Camarines Norte noong panahon ng Hapon. At ang mga weapon lang po nila noon ay mga pana. So, talaga wala po silang masyadong armas. Pero sa tapang po ay napa-atras po nila yung mga Hapon. Maraming salamat po uli sa inyong lahat.
Mr. President,
Thank
with the
you.
permission of the majority
Yes.
leader, I move that we approve Senate Resolution number 128, and if the rest of the senators are willing to be co-authors.
Yes, but there are no interpellation. There are no
Yes,
amendments.
Mr. President, there's no interpellation from our members.
No more
And
amendments.
no amendments as well, Mr. President.
Yes.
I move to adopt Senate Resolution number 128 with all members of the Senate as co-authors, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, PS Resolution 128 is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, maybe suspend for 1 minute so that we can just approach the family and have a picture. They would like to have a picture with us, Mr. President.
Session is suspended.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Majority
President.
Leader.
Just for the record, Senator Pia Cayetano wishes to be made co-sponsor of Senate Resolution number 140, which we already did. I think we made all members co-sponsor together with but she would like that her co-sponsorship speech be inserted into the record for PS Resolution number 140. Senator Legarda as well, Mr. President, would like to insert her co-sponsorship speech of PS Resolution 128 into the record, Mr. President.
So recorded, as manifested by the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, that we'd like to move to consider PS Resolution number 139 under Committee Report number 2, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, PS Resolution 139's consideration is in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having already been sponsored yesterday, we're now in the period of interpellation. May we recognize Senator Raffy Tulfo to ask a few clarificatory questions to our distinguished colleague, Senator Amy Marcos, Mr. President.
The sponsor, Senator Amy Marcos, is recognized, and to interpellate, Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Majority Leader. I'm happy to take any questions and answer to the best of my ability. Ate Irving.
Are you
Suspension, Mr. President.
pertaining to Senator Raffy Tulfo or Senator Erwin Tulfo?
They both look the same, Mr. President. My apologies. I thought it was Senator Irwin. May I ask for a minute suspension to locate the
No, that
interpolator?
was, Mr. President, it was me.
There to set.
All right.
Next, Senator Irwin Tulfo, Mr. President.
Senator Erwin Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to manifest my support for the Senate's concurrence on Philippines-United States Letter of Agreement on Narcotics Control and Law Enforcement. Since its inception in 2011, during this enduring partnership has provided over $27 million to our country, resources that have significantly contributed to strengthening our justice system, enhancing the capacity of our law enforcement agencies, and advancing drug prevention programs. These initiatives have not only reinforced our institutions, but also provided vital support in our continuing struggle against the menace of illegal drugs. At the same time, Mr. President, we must carefully examine the supposed reimbursement to the United States for tax exemptions granted under the letter of agreement, a concern raised during the committee hearings on 11 September 2025. In addition, while we acknowledge this letter of agreement, we must ensure that from this point onward, the Department of Foreign Affairs submits treaties for Senate concurrence in a timely manner. We must ensure that our actions neither create an undue financial burden on our government, nor set a precedent that may weaken the constitutional role of the Senate in concurring a treaty as enshrined under Article 7, Section 21 of the 1987 Constitution. With these considerations, Mr. President, I reiterate my support for the concurrence of this agreement, confident that it will continue to promote justice, law enforcement, and drug prevention, while also underscoring the importance of upholding our constitutional process. Mr. President, may the good lady from Ilocos Norte entertain some questions.
Certainly, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Senator Erwin Tulfo, the right Tulfo.
Madam, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the question now is, what is the nature of the agreement entered into between the United States and the Philippines on narcotics control and law enforcement of April 19, 2011? Does it fall under the category of an executive agreement, or does it assume the character of a treaty?
Yes, as it turns out, the law is presently viewed as a treaty, hence it requires the concurrence of the Senate. When it was signed in 2011, it was assumed that it was a mere executive agreement and a simple bilateral arrangement, not requiring a treaty. However, as laid down, in fact, it turns out that specifically under CREATE, as well as CREATE More, it is in fact a treaty endowing the beneficiaries a tax exemption. And that is very clear and explicit under Section 32B5 of RA 12066, Create More. So that it is now necessary for us to concur in order to derive the benefits for PDEA, for the PNP, for DOJ, for DOH from the United States. They are also embarking upon a new project which requires a building and will entail quite a large expense in Palawan. And as a result, it is the first time they've actually invoked the tax exemption.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, though I manifest my support for this Philippine-U.S. letter of agreement, my question is the Philippines obliged to reimburse the United States in accordance with the tax exemption under the terms of the letter of agreement? Kasi po, Madam Chair, alam na ho natin, medyo kulang tayo sa budget and kailangan po nating i-reimburse around $27 million. Medyo malaki-laki rin pong pera din po yun. I mean, $27 million na exemption sa ating bansa.
No. As a matter of fact, all the expenses and the donations and grants given by the United States previously were subject to tax, but we will no longer be required to refund the United States government of those taxes. But moving forward into the future, we will be required to provide the sums in tax paid by the U.S. government by way of their tax exemption.
Thank you, distinguished colleague. Mr. President, maraming salamat po. That's all.
Maraming salamat. Si Senator Tulfo po ang nagtiyaga maghimay nitong tratado kasama ko. Kaya salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Yeah. Sorry.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, no other member wishes to interpolate the measure. I move we close the period of interpolation.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of interpolation is closed.
Mr. President, we'd like to ask the sponsor if there's any amendments.
No, there are no amendments, Majority Leader.
There are no amendments, therefore we close the period of amendments.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading PS Resolution number 139 under Committee Report number 2. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none. Proposed Senate Resolution 139 is hereby adopted, subject to style.
And then tomorrow, Mr. President, we'll do the third reading roll call vote because we need 2/3 as this is being a treaty, Mr. President, for third reading.
All right. So we will entertain a motion to suspend consideration.
Yes, we move to suspend, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the measure suspended.
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President? 1 Senate minute.
I thought you wanted to go into a caucus.
Correct, Mr.
You
President.
want to do it
So
now?
I move for a 1 Senate minute
All right.
suspension. Or if you
Session
want to-
suspended for 1 Senate minute.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, we'd just like to recognize guests of Senator Lauren Legarda. These are UST Graduate School of Law. Reverend Father Dexter Austria is here with us, the Regent of the Graduate School of Law, together with Dean Jacqueline Lopez Cao, Assistant Professor Lady May Alñares, Attorney Gay Cortez Lopez and spouse, Judge Rebecca Gillian Ubanya, and other support staff, Mr. President. They're here with us today. We also have a guest from the DOTR, Secretary Giovanni Lopez is here, the acting secretary. Where's Giovanni?
Thank you. We welcome the guests to the Senate. Thank you.
Mr. President, we're waiting for the list that I gave to the Secretariat on the Committee on Ethics. May I have the list, my dear Secretariat? So we can finally constitute the committee. Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 10, Section 13 of the Rules of the Senate, I move to elect the following senators as members of the Committee on Ethics. Chairperson, Senator J.V. Ejercito. Members, Deputy Majority Leader Rizzo Ontiveros. On the part of the majority, Senator Erwin Tulfo and Senator Kiko Pangilinan. And upon the instruction of the chairperson, we'd like to designate Senator Pangilinan as the vice chairman of the said committee. The part of the majority.
All right. Any objection? Hearing none. They are so elected on the part of the majority.
Mr. President, with that, we have no other matters to take up today. I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday, October 1, 2025. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none. The session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Wednesday, October 1st, 2025.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mabuhay.